First question we have is about the special session. Tough decisions, to say the least. What do you think about the issues at hand and how they're going to try and find this money?
Well, the cuts were extremely difficult to do. My staff and I spent countless hours agonizing over every single one of the cuts that we were forced to make. No one was left immune or exempt from that. Everybody is going to face some of the difficulty as a result of cutting a budget by 25%, which is what we had to do. We made recommendations that went over the legislature, so we're going to see what they come back with after analyzing and massaging and debating every single one of those line items. And I understand they'll probably want to make some adjustments, and we'll see what those look like when they come back.
There's been some talk about trying to raise taxes or trying to find other ways to get revenue to try and make those cuts a little bit more maybe palatable. There's also talk about mining and the industry of mining.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on the proposition of potentially raising existing taxes, and on what taxes would those might be, and then specifically mining, taxing the mining industry?
Well, mining in particular is constitutional. That's something that would have to be addressed over a couple legislative sessions and voted on by the people. That's not going to provide any immediate relief for our current situation. It would, that's a long-term possibility that could exist that we'd be willing to look at. Any revenue that comes up, if you instituted a new revenue stream, it wouldn't be able to help us this fiscal year, because the time you set it up, you implement it, you start collecting it, you receive the money that was paid, we're going to be through the year. I mean, we're already into the fiscal year that we're talking about. So whatever changes are going to be made or adjustments would have to be something where you could recognize the revenue relatively quickly. That would mean changing something on a current tax, whether that's a threshold, whether that's a rate, whether that's an exemption, whether it's a definition, whatever it might be. That all being said, that's only possible if I can get one more vote in the Senate, which I don't have another vote to support that thus far in the Senate. We saw that during the regular session. A lot of Republicans have talked about it. We're going to see how much they want to support education when it comes to taking a vote. If somebody's going to be willing to look at a revenue stream that would provide more money for education, I'd be thrilled to look at that. But unless I get somebody to step up and do it, these discussions are all just an exercise in futility, because nothing's going to come from them.
Next question is about the response to the pandemic, and are we considering rolling the state back into phase 1, and how would something like that play out?
Well, we look at the pandemic and the COVID statistics every single day. Clearly, I'm concerned about certain things. I mean, our rates have gone up, our positives have gone up. The positives going up partly because of testing, but a big part is because of our contact tracing is working. We're out in the community and we're identifying people that were exposed, which then they get tested. It's more likely they're going to test positive than somebody at random. But the biggest thing I'm concerned about is the hospital capacity. I mean, the intensive care units, regular hospitalization capacity. I have to be assured, and I'm in regular communication with the Hospital Association and with various hospitals, in particular in Clark and Washoe, that could potentially face a surge that then they can't handle the number of patients coming in. All these hospitals can flex up and handle more people, but when you're adding them lately at 30, 40, 50 a day, you're adding a lot of people real quickly. And that's something that I'm aware of. We're watching very, very closely, and that's the biggest statistic to me.
One of the things that goes along with the pandemic is, of course, DETR and unemployment. And one of the things we had to ask you is, you said DETR is doing its best. Even a judge now says, according to Washoe County, is not doing enough. What will you do to try to improve this system?
Well, I don't think that's quite what the judge said, and I listened to the hearing yesterday. The judge said, look, he doesn't want great, he doesn't want good, he doesn't want great, he wants iconic. So do I. That being said, he also heard from our staff that tens of thousands of these claims are fraudulent or potentially fraudulent, and that we risk the entire program if we don't follow DOL, Department of Labor guidelines. They say we have to investigate this to qualify somebody first. And the idea that their attorney was proffering that just pay everybody and try to get the money back, that isn't going to work for the Department of Labor. We had rules that we have to follow for them. If we don't follow those rules, we jeopardize everybody's payments, and that's not something I'm willing to do. We need to be cautious on this. Yes, would I like to get the people faster? Of course. But we're doing it as quickly as we can. They continue to bring more people on board, and hopefully that we'll get more people hired and be able to get through the backlog.
So it's been 4 months. What do you say to the people who are still waiting on those long overdue payments?
I'm sorry. I wish we could get to them quicker. I really do, but we're paying out the vast majority. I think we're in the 90 percentile range. 80–90% of the people are getting paid. I know that doesn't do any good if you're one of the ones not getting paid. But these are all individual situations that couldn't be lumped together as a group, whether the application was filled out inappropriately, whether the information that the individual provided us was not right. These are issues that we're facing, and we can't jeopardize the integrity of the entire system and our ability to get federal funds for this by not following their guidelines. And that's the situation that we found ourselves in. No one has dealt with this before. No one has ever dealt with something of this magnitude before. We're dealing with, I deal with my colleagues on a regular basis across the country, the other governors. We're not the best, but we're certainly not the worst. We're in the middle of the pack when it comes to dispersing of unemployment and PUA claims, and we're doing everything we can to get better, and hopefully we will.
One of the other questions, have you consulted, that goes along with that, what you just said, have you consulted with other states and considered training or utilizing the National Guard troops to try and help adjudicate these kinds of claims? Is that even possible?
Well, we've used the National Guard a lot for various things, for testing, for our nursing homes, for supplies. We're not using our National Guard to go into DETR. Our ability to use a guard is going to run out at the end of the month. I mean, that's all that they've provided for us by the federal government. It'd be nice if they're provided for us longer, but we're hiring more people. All governors are facing the same situation. No program was set up that could have possibly remotely anticipated this kind of a demand. It just didn't exist. I mean, nobody had ever contemplated something of this nature happening, and here we are, we're facing it, and we're doing the best we can to get through it.
We'll just clear them out here. Also, a lot of people think you're holding the CARES money to make interest on it to help our state budget. Is that an accurate assessment of people who are opining about that?
No, we are not holding the CARES money. We're spending the CARES money on various programs. It's not something you just go spend in the first week that you get it. We allocated over $100 million to our rural counties that is going to be sent out to them. It's not being used to gain any interest if they're not aware of you're not getting any interest on the money if you talk to the treasurer right now that we're investing. So that's not something that was even ever thought of or considered. We're spending the money as quickly as we can, but doing that, we need to be as efficient as we possibly can and as conscious of the needs that everybody has.
Why is DETR paying claims in the order they were filed? People who applied 16 weeks ago still haven't gotten paid. Do you know why?
Yeah, because the people that might have filed 16 weeks ago had some sort of a problem with their application. Understand, if we do not follow the federal rules, and some people don't want to hear this, and I understand why you might not want to hear what the actual truth is. If we don't follow the federal rules, we put in jeopardy all of the money that we're getting and all the people that are getting their PUA and their unemployment compensation money. And we don't want to do that. There are tens of thousands of claims that are filed fraudulently. I've got individuals who have called up and told me that their social security number and identity was taken, they're filing claims, and someone's trying to get PUA money with it. That's what we're dealing with. So we're doing the best we possibly can while maintaining the integrity of the system.
And so if we do roll back to phase one, how do you see that impacting perhaps PUA, unemployment, and maybe bolstering that program as we may be bracing for maybe perhaps more?
Well, we're doing everything we can to bolster that program right now, and that includes adding more people, it includes automating some of the systems. We're doing everything we can to try to get a better handle on the disbursement of those funds. If we have to roll back as a result of the increase in positives in our hospital capacity, we'll have to deal with those situations when they present themselves.
More or less, do you accept the responsibility for the situation with DETR and the long time for unemployment and PUA, and the buck ultimately stops with you?
Joe, DETR is an extremely difficult situation. I mean, we're doing what we can with it. We had a director that got put in a DETR that had to quit because of the threats she got. I get those threats on a daily, regular basis. That's why you see so much security standing here today. And you get some people that just don't want to see both sides of the story. And you're not hearing the side that says we're doing what we can. What are you going to do with the tens of thousands of people who are attempting to defraud the system, and then the federal government is going to say, we're cutting you off. Now nobody's getting any money. Then you're going to come with those claims and say, Governor, why did you do this? Because now everybody lost their money. So I think you need to be a part of the solution, not become part of the problem. And people need to understand we're doing everything we possibly can. There are situations that come up here, and we're doing the best we can to resolve those situations. We've hired more people, we've changed some of our technology, and we're getting the people. But when you got them robocalling in and blocking and scrambling the system, which is what's happening, and you know that. No, you're not saying don't do that. I'm saying please don't do that to our system so that people can get through. It's unfortunate.